So you've poured your heart, your soul, pretty much everything you've got into building your business. The very idea of selling it can feel, well, huge. But you know what? It's not an ending. It's really the start of a brand new adventure. And today, we're going to map out exactly what that journey looks like. Seriously, you've done all the hard work. You've put in those long hours. So the real question is, what's next for you? Maybe you're dreaming about just relaxing for a while, spending some real quality time with your family. Or maybe, just maybe, you've got that itch to start something totally new. Whatever that dream is, selling your business is the very first step to making it happen.
And let's be real here. This is a massive step. For a lot of people, it's literally one of the biggest decisions they'll ever make. So it's completely normal to feel this mix of, excitement and maybe a little bit of anxiety. The key is just understanding the process so you can navigate everything that's coming your way.
Okay, so to make sense of it all, we're breaking the whole journey down into 5 key stages. First up, we'll talk about what your next chapter could look like. Then, we're going to tackle the big one. What is your business actually worth? After that, we'll get into finding the perfect buyer, steering through the tricky parts of the final deal, and then finally, crossing that finish line. Let's dive in.
All right, let's kick things off with part 1. Your next chapter begins. This is all about looking ahead to the future you've absolutely earned.
This whole journey, it feels so complex, right? But you can actually boil it down to 4 core steps. First, figure out the value. Second, lock in the right buyer. Third, navigate the deal itself. And fourth, the part we all look forward to, getting paid. When you break it down like this, a huge mountain of a task suddenly becomes a series of steps you can actually manage. And now for the question that's on every single business owner's mind. You want the best possible price for all your hard work, and that journey starts with getting a proper valuation.
So, what really goes into a professional valuation? Well, it's so much more than just a quick look at your profits. A real valuation digs into everything: your assets, your cash flow, your position in the market, your potential for growth. It combines all that hard data with some serious market insight to find that sweet spot, that optimal listing price for you. Once you know your number, the next big phase kicks in, finding the right person to take over. And this isn't just about money changing hands. It's about finding someone you can actually trust to carry on the legacy you built. Just take a look at this. It really paints a picture of what we mean by market reach. As you can see, some brokerages have a massively larger network than others. And the idea here is simple. A bigger network means a much wider pool of potential buyers. For you, the seller, the size of that network can be a really big deal. So what does all that size and scale actually get you? Well, a wider reach could mean more buyers, right? Which can lead to more competition and, hopefully, a better price. Having access to a huge database and global marketing can also speed up the whole process of finding that buyer and getting to the closing table. That's the advantage a large-scale operation is aiming for.
But look, reach is only half the story. Confidentiality is absolutely critical. You don't want your sensitive business info just floating around out there. That's why a key step in any professional process is to pre-qualify buyers and make them sign a strict confidentiality agreement, an NDA, before they see any of the important details. Protecting your privacy has to be priority number 1.
Okay, let's move on to navigating the deal itself. This is where things can get messy. Lots of moving parts. The whole point of having an advisor at this stage is to make this entire transition feel as smooth and effortless as possible for you. I mean, just think about everyone who gets involved in a sale. You've got accountants, lawyers, bankers, landlords, all these other third parties. Trying to coordinate all of them is a massive headache. A business advisor's job is to be that single point of contact, to manage that whole circus and handle the tricky stuff on your behalf.
When you put it side by side, the difference in the experience is, well, it's night and day. Trying to do it all alone, from finding buyers to dealing with legal hurdles, it can be completely overwhelming. The alternative is working with an expert who brings a whole network to the table and can turn all that complexity into a much simpler process.
And that brings us to the final stage, the home stretch. This is where all that planning and all that negotiation finally pays off. And your advisor's right there with you, every single step of the way, even after the ink is dry.
And this is what it's all about. The payoff. It's the result of all the time, all the effort, all the energy you've poured into your business for years. This is that moment where all your hard work finally turns into the fuel for whatever comes next.
At the end of the day, What's most rewarding is seeing somebody get across that finish line, seeing them genuinely excited about moving on to the next stage of their life. It's about seeing a new owner take the amazing foundation that you built and grow it to the next level. That right there is the real win.
So, after seeing the whole journey laid out like this, there's really only one question left to ask. And this one's for you. Are you ready to start your next chapter?